Listen, have you ever felt stuck in life? Like, what's next? How would I ever be happy? Feeling like you're waking up every single day going to a job you can't stand? If you felt like this, then my new book is for you. Follow Your Yellow Brick Road. Your Passion Leads to Your Provision is a book that teaches people how to find their passion, how to become unstuck in life, and how to go get what you've been dreaming about. It's on Amazon right now. Just go there and search Corey Cofield, and you'll see the new book. Grab it up. It's a short read, under 100 pages. Made it really simple but powerful. Check it out if you would. Thank you.
Hi there, I am the Essence of Femininity, and welcome to I'm Yellow Butterfly on YouTube. And today I am so happy to have before me Mr. Corey Cofield. I am going to share with you some information about him, but first of all, please understand that neither one of us are a licensed therapist. I am a certified professional life and recovery coach, and you can also reach out to me via my website. The link is in the bio. In the meantime, I want to talk to Corey because he has given me the pleasure of sitting down to discuss with him the Yellow Brick Road. You follow your path to the Yellow Brick Road, and if I'm butchering the title, please forgive me. He is a literary maestro who has a new book that is taking over the globe. I am going to encourage you to follow him on all of your social media platforms, and also make sure that you purchase his book today. But in the meantime, enough about me. Let's pass it on over to Corey. Corey, I would love for you to introduce yourself to our viewers and just give us a little synopsis of what brought you to author Follow Your Yellow Brick Road.
Thank you. First, appreciate you and your time for just even considering me and taking the time, your valuable time to sit down with me and interview me about the book. I so appreciate that. I like your content and everything you're doing. And so it's just a pleasure to be with you today and for you to take your time for me. And I don't take that for granted. So again, as she said, my name is Corey Cofield. The name of my book is called Follow Your Yellow Brick Road. Your passion leads to your provision. So the book came about just basically me fighting to get back to my passions and my dreams. And so I realized sometimes in life that life could steal your dream. Life could steal your confidence, and life could steal your momentum if you're not careful. So Follow Your Yellow Brick Road is a book that teaches people how to find their passions again, how to rekindle their passions, or how to locate their passion, and then gives them real steps on how to get back to it and how to get after it. And the book came to me with just going through my life. I just went through so much stuff, right? Coming up, I had so many self-conscious issues. One of them was my skin complexion. I used to get talked about so much for being so dark, and that was one of the things that really built up and stole a lot of my self-identity, right? And so just trying to build myself back up and trying to find out who I was, it led me to doing all these practices and all these steps to just feel better about myself and to go back to what I dreamed about. One of my dreams coming up, I always wanted to be an artist. So I wanted to be a rapper. That's what my thing was, right? So back in the day, and I did that, right? I had a deal back in the day, back in the 90s with Universal. And so my dream was to be in front of people, in front of crowds, and just speaking through music. And just growing up, so many life issues came up and so many things hit me that stole that dream from me and caused me to just lose confidence in myself and my abilities. So getting back on the road to building up my confidence and building back up the things that I loved, it led me to really going through all these steps to make myself better and to build up my confidence back and to tear down all the self-conscious things that I put in my mind. And in that process, it just led me to say, wow, if I'm going through this, it might be some more people that's going through this. So I started just putting notes and just writing things down. And before I know it, I'm like, I'm gonna put this in a book. And that's how it all came about. Follow your yellow brick road. Your passion will lead to your provision. It came through trials, tears, and all kind of drama, to be honest. So, yep, that's how it came.
So it sounds like you're still rapping. You're just writing it and publishing it now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, it's still lyrical. You spoke about, moments ago, when you were younger and you wanted to rap and things were just coming against you. I remember reading in chapter 1, you talked about some of that and you spoke about your father and, people looking at you kind of side-eyed because your dream was to rap.
Right.
So you're returning back to your passion. Do you think you're going to go back into rapping, or what do you think I know your passion now is motivating others, but do you see yourself going back to that?
Well, in a way I do, because I still write. I still write often, and my children now are in the music now, so I'm helping them develop their stuff and push towards what they're trying to do. But I now I envision myself maybe while I'm speaking or something, and maybe going to a song or something like that. Because now all my music, before my music was it wasn't the best lyrics, to be honest, So I talked about a lot of stuff that was foolishness, pretty much. So now my lyrics more address just being better and how to improve in your life and stuff like that. So yeah, I do see myself maybe, like I said, doing a speaking kind of rapping kind of thing. So it'll be different, but I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
You have a lot of depth to you. For all of you watching, I met him on TikTok. I slipped into his DMs. I have to say it like that because I know I didn't slip into his DMs romantically, by the way. I just wanted to reach out to him and introduce myself because I think you had just started the page, right? Your TikTok page?
Yeah.
I think around that time, because there wasn't many people, you only posted a very few videos, I remember. And I was like, wow, I just was scrolling one evening. And I'm on the East Coast, Corey's on the West Coast. I was just scrolling and I sent him a message because your messages are so powerful. And I have watched you grow this platform, social media platform of yours. So many people are inspired by what you have to say. So just looking at the number of people that is responding to you from the videos, I know even your message in your book is even more powerful because your videos are maybe 30, 40 seconds long. Yeah. But here we get an entire, it's really 12 chapters if you count about the author that you have there. But you have 11 chapters of information that you've compiled together. And just a sidebar, something I thought of when you were talking about the type of lyrics you used to say, it could be the universe's way of preventing you from putting that out there, because that's why that opportunity didn't come to you. Now look at you. You have your social media platforms where you have thousands of people following you and listening to your content. The words are much more impactful. The words are much more powerful. You're transforming others. It's a very transformative message. A lot of rappers, their messages are transformative, but not in the best way, if that makes sense to what I'm saying. Sometimes you listen to a rap song and it's just laced with a bunch of negative, low vibrational toxicity. But now when you're speaking and you're putting your lyrics and your words through your books and through your videos, is very transformative. It's powerful. It's very inspiring. So I want to talk a little bit about, I want to transition if I can to chapter 3, where you talked about passion to provision. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Okay, well, chapter 3, passion to provision, was, I believe that, as the subtitle goes, your passion will lead to your provision. Back in the day, back when people were tent makers and musicians, people's passion normally was the thing that provided for them, right? So if you was a tent maker, that was how your family ate, right? And that skill got passed down through generation. If you were just say you were a musician, whatever you did, whatever you were passionate about back in the day, normally that was the thing that provided for you. So it's my belief that your passion will create your provision. And I think a lot of times what we've jumped off of what we're passionate about because of life, and we started just doing what we had to do, right? Which I understand. A lot of us work jobs that we hate. A lot of us are in relationships that we hate. And matter of fact, in doing research for my book, what really prompted me to really write this book is that I came across a statistic, and it said over 86% of people wake up every single day and go into jobs they hate. And when I read that, I was just like, it really stuck with me. I said, wow, 86% of the people worldwide are going into jobs they hate and in relationships they don't like. And so I started to say, and I had to just have an honest look at myself and say, is that you, Corey? And I started to see a lot of ways in which I wasn't really doing what I loved, and I was just doing what I had to do to survive. So passion to provision is a chapter that addresses just that, finding your passions and allowing your passions to create your provision, because that's what it was meant to do. So if you ask yourself, what would I do if money wasn't an issue? If everything was all taken care of, what would I wake up and do every single day? What did you want to do between the ages of 7 and 15? What was that? And a lot of times, those things were the things that we were passionate about. And that chapter just literally addresses us getting back to our passions, us finding your passion and allowing your passion to become your provision, right? So that's what that chapter is about. And hopefully people could get that message out of it.
Because so many people like myself, and I resonate with this, and I'm sorry if I need to pull this down a little bit. I resonate with this chapter because I am somebody that feel that the first part of my life, you know, they always say your second half is your better half, or you learn from the first half. The first half was a lesson. I was one of those people that worked at a job that I hated. There was no room for growth. Being in the state of Florida, opportunities were they were there, but they were not equal, if that makes sense. The opportunities were there, even if you had the experience and the education, but if you were not the right person, the opportunity was not there for you. And so I settled into just being complacent, just accepting things for what they were. And hearing you talk about reuniting that passion, getting back to it, I would hope that those listening would understand that it's never too late. You're never too old. You have children, and your children are adults, right? And you're still making music, and you're going back to making music. I mean, it's not like you've been, and if I'm wrong, correct me, it's not like you've been making music all this time, right? You stopped. So now you're going back to it. So I could resonate with your book. One of the things I want you to do is to literally, I don't want you to, well, no, because I want them to buy the book. I'm not going to say that. Just scratch that. I'm not going to say that, because I don't want to give away too much. I want them to actually go out and support your book and look into this. But I do want to talk about a couple of more of the titles here. Now, there's another one in chapter 4 called The Rat Race. I did not get a chance to touch on this. So could you talk to us a little bit about the rat race? And I'm sorry, it may be chapter 5.
Yeah, the rat race.
Mhm.
So the rat race is designed for people who don't believe. The rat race is designed for non-dreamers, right? Now, if you research what the rat race is, it's basically like people just fighting and scratching to fit in, scratching for position in a company. They're doing anything to be able to advance, right? People who throw you under a bus to get what they want, right? Prime example, have you ever been driving and you just got this person just come through like he cutting people off, you know, he's doing everything he can to push past people. He's not gonna let anybody get in front of him and all these. These are people who feel like they have to go to all these extremes to try to prosper. That's the rat race, right? And we weren't designed for the rat race. We were designed for life to be smooth. We were designed for our passions to bring to us what we're supposed to do. And people who are operating at a high frequency, we don't get caught up in the rat race, right? So whatever is for you, is for you, right? So nobody can come and take what's yours, right? So I don't have any competition at all. I don't live by competition. I'm not trying to compete with anybody with my book. I'm not trying to compete with anybody on being the best speaker and all this kind of stuff. I say, listen, my path is my path. And that's why the book is called Follow Your Yellow Brick Road. Because if you remember the Wizard of Oz, some of us watch the Wizard of Oz, others watch the Wiz.
Oh yeah, I watch both.
Right, me too. Right. So what was ironic about that is one night I woke up at like 3 a.m. and the Wiz was on. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching it, and I hadn't saw it in years. And I'm just sitting there watching it, and I'm like, wow. And what I noticed was Dorothy had a yellow brick road. She had a call, she had a path that she was supposed to go down to get her to where she was going. But the interesting part was, every time she stepped off her yellow brick road, she bumped into wicked witches and flying monkeys. Right? The more she stayed on her path, she headed to where she was going. And it was not till she stepped off until she entered into a bunch of problems and issues. And that's where the conception of the book came from. When I said, wow, every time she steps off her path, she bumps into all these these illegitimate people and people who obstacles. And it started to think about like, wow, if you're on your path is designed to put you in contact with the people that's conducive to where you're going. When you're on your path, when you're on your road, there's no competition. Nobody has your path. Nobody has your yellow brick road. Your yellow brick road is yours and yours alone, right? And so when you're following your path, we don't get caught up in the rat race. We don't have to do anything just to get on. We don't have to throw people under the bus to try to make ourselves move further in life. We follow the path that's meant for us. And the more you follow your path, you will meet the people that you're supposed to meet. If you're looking for a husband, you're looking for a wife, get after your calling. Get after what you're supposed to be doing in life. And you'll meet the people that you're supposed to meet. The right people. Right? So a lot of times, just think about how many illegitimate people you met in your life, people that did you harm, people that wasn't good for you. And think about it. Were you doing what you were meant to do, or were you out of place a little bit? And just like the ship, right? If you take a ship and you move the rudder, if you move the rudder, I mean a millimeter, right? And this ship has a destination and it's locked in. But if you move that rudder just a milli-inch, before you know it, that ship will be miles off a course over a period of time, right? Because that rudder decides where that ship's going. And the same thing with our lives. If we don't stay on our path and we step off our path and we indulge in things and people that we shouldn't be involved in, before we know it, we'll be off track. Over years, you'll look back and you'll say, how did I get here?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
How did this person get in my life?
Yes.
They never was supposed to be in my life. So the rat race is a chapter just addressing just that. Don't get caught up in the rat race. It's no competition for your life. It's no competition for your path. Your path is yours and yours alone. So that's what the rat race, the chapter is about, finding your path and letting that guide you and letting that take you to the people and the places that you are originally supposed to be in contact with.
Do you have days when you don't feel like you are at your best? Do you have days where you feel like what your message isn't matching your emotions? And how do you lift yourself out of that? Because I know as a life coach, I coach others, but then there's some times where I have to coach myself and it doesn't always feel the best. And your message is very strong and it's very powerful and it's very empowering. So you have to forgive me. I have a Southern drawl, but it's very empowering. How do you lift yourself up? How do you get to that point of saying, you know what? I'm feeling low. I'm that low vibration that you spoke about moments ago. How do you lift yourself out of it? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. How do you do that? And what would you tell others that are watching to do?
Great question. So often that feeling comes upon me. It will show up more than I like to say, right? But what I've learned is that I can't go by feelings. So what I learned to do is put feelings aside, because regardless of how we feel, what needs to be done needs to be done. So if you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, I don't feel like going to work, it's not about it. Okay, so what? So what? I don't feel like it. I'm going because this is what needs to be done. So I've adjusted my life to say, you know what? I don't live by feelings. I don't live by emotions. I live by what needs to be done and not alone, right? So I know my message needs to be spoken. I know my message needs to be transmitted. And every day I wake up, even if I'm not feeling it, I say, Corey, it's not about a feeling. Let's go. Let's go, right? And because feelings has nothing to do with the truth. Feelings could actually be totally opposite than the truth. And I've learned to only see what I wish to experience. I've learned to only allow my mind to process what I want to be my actual life, right? So if I wake up and I'm feeling, if I feel some emotions that's down right away, I look at what I'm thinking about, because you can only feel down, you can only feel emotionally drained if you allow your mind to focus on things most of the time that you don't have, right? So if you allow your mind to stay in a place of thinking about things that necessarily is not doing you no good, then that's when you feel low. That's when your vibrations are low. So I keep my mind up. I keep my mind on the high vibrations, period, right? So if I feel myself feeling like that, automatically I say, hold on, what you thinking about? And I start to check, right? So you have to be like a bouncer at a club, right? So when you go to a club back in the day, they had dress codes I'm from Detroit, but now I'm in California. But in Detroit, when you went to clubs, you couldn't wear certain places, you couldn't wear gym shoes and jeans.
Yeah.
So it'd be a big old bouncer standing there looking at your clothes and checking you, seeing what you have on. And if you weren't wearing the right proper gear, he'll say you can't come in. And so you have to be the bouncer of your mind. You have to be a bouncer standing at the gateway of your mind, monitoring every single thought that comes in your mind. And if that thought doesn't line up to where you want your life to be, you got to kick it out. You got to get rid of it. How do you get rid of it? You change your thoughts, right? And if you think, some people, sometimes when you thinking when you're thinking about some things that you don't like in your life, we tend to brew on those things. We tend to keep thinking about it all day, how the person done me, how they did me wrong, or how I don't have this or I don't have that. What I do is monitor my mind. I monitor and I watch every single thought, and I run it through a process. Is this thought something I want to see in my life? And if it's not, right away I counter that thought with the truth. So if I'm thinking, man, I haven't got any calls to speak anywhere and the money is low, then right away I start to see what I want to experience. I start saying, hey, you know what? No, I got calls coming in. I got people want me to speak. I just start to see what I want to see in my life.
I'm booked every day. Yeah.
Right, I'm booked every day. I change my thoughts, because your thoughts are literally your life.
Well said. And I asked that question because you talked earlier about when you were growing up and how you felt about yourself being dark-skinned, and you experienced depression. You experienced a place of just being debased, by others, being bullied by others, or people would say things about you. You experienced a very low part of life, and your emotions, everything was you just felt low. You were in a low space. You're not there now. And I know we're talking like, yeah, we encourage ourselves. We have to ask ourselves, why am I feeling like this? And you're doing the work. But for somebody that's watching that's not where you are to be able to ask those questions, how would you encourage them from where you used to be and those feelings you used to struggle with to who you've become today? Because it's a process. It's not, we can talk all day, you and I know you make lots of videos, and I love the videos, but sometimes hearing those videos, hearing those messages, it didn't always feel good, when we were in those places. And I say we because I've been there too. But what would you tell someone how to take the first step? What would you encourage them to do to become a better version of themselves? What would that first step look like? And what was your first step? What did you do to start transforming into who you are now?
Well, just like life.
And I'm asking this question with life coach perspective in mind. So go ahead.
Well, I feel like anything that's built starts out with a blueprint, right? So if you look at any building or any manufacturing job or anything like that, they have a blueprint or something they want to follow. So I would say my first step was, I saw what I wanted to be, right? So I asked myself, what would the on top of it Corey look like? What would the doing everything I wanted to be, if I was accomplishing everything I wanted to do in my life, if I was operating at 1,000%, totally happy with what I was doing in life, what would that look like? And so when I thought about that, I was like, okay, I would be traveling the world speaking. I would be helping people find their passions. I would be using my testimonies that I went through when I was young, but was being molested, and all these things that happened to me. I would be using all those things to be able to help somebody else. So I got an end in mind, because this is ironic. Everything that was ever created was really created with the end in the beginning. So if you look at the apple seed, even if in its seed form, inside of that seed is the whole apple tree. It's the leaves, it's the apples, it's the bark.
The bark on the tree.
The bark on the tree. It's everything that seed is going to be is in it at the beginning. right? And I
Yeah.
believe that's how God created everything. Everything that was ever created has the end in the beginning. And
Yeah.
I believe we're just like that. So I had to just examine my life and say, what do I want to look like? What do I want my life to be? What would make me 100% happy? What would it look like if my life was operating at optimal level? And then I wrote that down. Well, you will be working out, you'll be in the gym, you'll be in good shape. You would be doing this, you would be doing that, you would be doing this. And once you get a picture of that, that's the first step. You have to really get a picture of what you want your life to be. Because like I said, what's been built without a blueprint? What can actually be built if you don't know where you're going? You don't know when you get there. So I would encourage anybody who's starting from a place of where you want to grow your life is to know where you want to go. Picture what it looks like to be operating at an optimal level, right? So if I say whatever that looks like, you get a vision of that and then start that day. Start that day.
Well said.
Right. So if you say the optimal Corey operating at optimal level, I'll be working out. Then the next day I'm going to the gym. Right? The optimal Corey will be working on books. The next day, I don't care if I'm just writing the title of the book down. I'm doing it, right? So you envision where you want to go, and then you just be that. You just start right away.
And so the manifestation begins.
Exactly. So first of all, I would tell people, don't look at where you are, and don't look at how things are going now. We have enough of it. We got enough of what things are. Let's start to focus on what you want things to be and only see that. And that's why I say only see what you wish to experience. So that would be my suggestion to anybody that's starting building your life. Just to recap, is write down what you want, what the optimal life would be for you. What does that look like? And once you get that vision in your mind, now it's on from there. Now you know what it takes to be able to get it. And then just take one step at a time, little by little. That would be my suggestion.
I agree. I 1000% agree. Actually, on my channel, I share with others how back in 2018, I was at the point of my lowest. And I said, I wrote a list of things I love about myself and things that I didn't like about myself. And the things I didn't like, I started pondering, how did I get to that point? And then I just started Googling, why do I not like this about me? Sometimes you can find a therapist everybody's got cell phone nowadays. Or go to a library, or just, you can find a therapist in a book to help you. And speaking of therapists in a book, Follow Your Yellow Brick Road is almost like therapy in a book, I want everyone to follow you. I'm hoping that as they watch this video, that they will go to your content, go to Amazon to purchase your book. I want you now, I'm just going to be quiet. I want you now to share all of your details, how to locate you as far as speaking engagements. I want you to just share a plethora of information about your book, where they could buy it, so forth.
Okay. So my website is CoreyCofield.com. That's CoreyCof as in Frank, IELD. CoreyCofield.com. You can go there and you can see all my other social media. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, and YouTube, different places like that. And I'm also a transformational guide, right? And so the reason why I say guide, so we could have sessions together and I can guide you to being able to find your passion and help you to find ways to obtain that. And the reason why I call myself a transformational guide is because, first of all, motivation, I believe, goes away, right? So when you motivate somebody, that can last a day, it can last a week, it can last, a year. But eventually, it can go away. But once something is transformed, most times it stays.
Yes.
And so I call myself a transformational guide. And I feel like with the way I work with people is like, I want to be there. I want to be there the whole step of the way. And sometimes when you're coaching people, you can give them information, and then you can say, okay, now go make it happen, right? Which is not bad, because you have some people that could learn like that. Some people could get the information and they run with it, right? But I wasn't that type of person. Even in school, that was another thing I battled with, is just feeling that I wasn't as smart as everybody else, because I learned differently. And I didn't know that back then, because back in the 70s, early 80s, it wasn't all ADHD and all the things they say. We didn't know that people learn differently. Only thing we knew is the teacher stood up there and she said whatever she said, and if you didn't get it, they called you slow. And that's exactly what they did to me. So I say I'm a guide, because a guide normally, if you work with a guide or you go on a tour guide, a guide has normally been where you're going. And not only that, they're going to be with you the whole time, right? So a guide walks with you through the process. So because I'm a different learner, I realize some other people may need me to be there more intensely than others, right? And so a transformational guide helps you transform, and they're with you the whole way. They're with you the whole step of the way, right? And so you can go on my website, CoreyCofield.com. You can see some of the packages that we offer. For instance, one-on-one personal guiding, right? Where you got some things you want to change in your life. It's about you, right? Then we have business guiding, where you wanna up your business life. You wanna your entrepreneurship or whatever you're doing with those aspects of your life. We guide you through being more successful in business, right? I'm an entrepreneur myself. I own a few companies, and I've been that way probably since I was 15, right? And so we got a lot of different ways that we can help.
Sounds like a smart guy to me.
Hey, now, but back in the day, I had so many self-conscious issues, and did you know I flunked the first grade? Now, how do you flunk the first grade? Like,
and I'm sure it's easy to think, how do you do that? But if you think back to first grade, were you able to articulate through communication what you needed? No, you're not. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. I have a speech impediment. I have to talk slowly so it doesn't come out. My tongue does this crazy things with certain words, and I've always been self-conscious of speaking in public. And I overcame that through my own journey of just, creating my YouTube vlog. So you never know. You just never know.
I would never know that about you, because you speak so amazing and confidently. And when I it was funny when I saw you on TikTok, and I think you made a couple comments on some of my videos first, and then I went and I looked at some of your stuff. I was like, wow, I liked your message, and I liked the way you just made me feel comfortable, right? And
I'm glad.
I'm glad. Relax just to listen to you. And that's a gift, to be able to make people feel that way. Like, I can hurt you and it's not an issue, right? You don't make people feel intimidated. So I would have never known you had any kind of speech.
Oh, it's there. I control it. I'm almost 50, and I'm still controlling it from a little girl. So certain things I say, I have to slow it down. I have to think really hard about it. But, I don't let it stop me. And I'm glad you didn't allow the words that other people said to you by calling you dumb. I mean, you look at what you're doing. You've written a book, the first of many books.
Yeah,
and this book is doing really good. So guys, I am encouraging you. I always believe that there is enough room in the universe for everybody to play a part. And even though he is a transformational coach, I'm a life coach. still, I want to encourage you to go to him. I want you to check out his website. I want you to look at his packages. I want you to work with him, because I may not be the person that you need. He may be the person. I mean, you never know. And maybe somebody that sees this video and say, I want to work with her instead of talking to a man. So you just never know how these things play out. The most important thing is that you do whatever it takes in a positive way to become a better version of yourself, to be a better version of who you were on yesterday. And with that said, I am happy that you took the time to watch this video. Corey, I am so grateful that you graced my platform with your presence. I'm thankful of the connection that we've made, and I'm looking forward to working with you in the future. I just wish you so much success, and I'm just very proud of you. I'm very proud of you. So I plan on purchasing some more editions of your book and actually gifting them to others. And I'm just really grateful. So thank you so much.
I appreciate you just taking the time to talk to me about this. You know, a lot of people try to bring somebody else up because it's like a competition thing. But I like the way that you're not intimidated by other people and by what they're doing. And like you say, everybody's some people may be for you, some people may be for me, and we have to understand that. But in a nutshell, we have to know, as I said before, that your path is your path and it's no competition. So anybody that's looking at this, just know that what's for you is for you. Absolutely. And nobody can stop it. Nobody can get in the way of it. You don't have to be competitive with people. The minute you find yourself in competition is the minute you know that you're not on your right path, because that competition will literally become a repellent to the things that's for you. And instead of drawing things to your life, you'll be repelling things from your life, pushing them away from you, right? So we all just got to do what's for us. Get on our path and follow your own yellow brick road.
I love that. I love that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a great one.
Thank you in advance for helping me become a best-selling author. Book available on Amazon. Follow your yellow brick road. Your passion leads to your provision.